Emilia-Romagna region is affected by several coastal risks. Probably the more evident is coastal erosion, which affects around 60–70% of the shoreline. But we also have problems of sea flooding.
So 1 in 6 properties in England are at risk from flooding from rivers or seas. And that's about 5 million properties, so a lot of properties at risk. And about 17% of our coast is eroding.
My company runs 9 marinas around the Kiel Fjord with in total 2,300 berths for leisure boats. And therefore we are not only Germany's biggest operator of berths for leisure boats, but we also do care about our customers' properties. And that's why coastal issues matter to us.
We developed the RISC-KIT tools because we recognized that there's an increased risk along European coasts. On the one hand, there is increased storminess and sea level rise. On the other hand, there is ongoing coastal development. And the two components actually lead to higher risk of damages.
Well, the RISC-KIT tools in the more broad sense, they're meant to give coastal managers a better grip on what kind of risks there are in the coastal area.
The tools that we developed are a step forward in coastal management because what we developed is a uniform set of tools that is applicable on all European coasts.
It's a really, really useful toolkit, particularly for countries that haven't got anything at the moment. So if you could take the whole of that toolkit and implement it everywhere, you'd have a great flood forecasting system and a great system for understanding your coastal risks and for working out which are the best disaster risk reduction measures to use. I guess the challenge is for countries that have already got tools, like in England, to understand which aspects of the learning and tools can be most useful for us.
Through them we can consider the multi-risk, the different kind of risk at the same time, and also consider some solution and evaluate what effect can be expected.
A hotspot tool like an early warning system with a comprehensive and reliable forecast, we could much more easily operate things like a flooding, and that would be something that could help us in the management of our marinas.
Another part of the RISC-KIT toolkit that's really useful for us will be the web-based management guide. I think that's really user-friendly and it looks visually very nice and it's good to interact with it. We're really interested in understanding how different countries manage their coastal flood and erosion risk and what disaster risk reduction measures they use across Europe. And we'll be looking for any good practice that we can perhaps implement in our own country.
About model strategies of how to do that kind of stuff.
We envision the use of the tools by practitioners, by having coastal managers and regional authorities of learning about the tools and applying the tools during workshops and trainings. Right now, we are telling and teaching a new generation of students about our approach and how they can use their tools in their research and hopefully later in their practice of engineering.
We use some of the coastal impact models like X-Beach. And my experience of using that model just this morning was that a lot of different scientists from different disciplines like ecology and economics, but also physical scientists, found it pretty easy to set up a model and to look at some of the impacts of beach nourishments or storms on coastal systems.
Sometimes I need to evaluate combined coastal vulnerability. In that scenarios, I need to develop integrated models, both with physical components as well as economic components. I am proficient in the evaluation of economic vulnerability, but not in physical side. In that scenarios, I want to use RISC-KIT tools to evaluate physical coastal vulnerability because these are very simple when compare other models.
The way it shows the results easily, I think it will be very, very helpful because the management can see immediately the different scenarios and have an idea what to do.
I've been dealing a lot with the users, managers, so now I understand how much it is important that we understand what they think. This is the reason why it's my new discovery, no? It's a sort of new point of view.
Coastal resilience is something that is really about people and society as much as it is about science. It's about how people make decisions, how policymakers act, how people vote, and what they decide that they want their countries to do. And so I do think that science has to be there. Science has to provide that framework. We have to make information available. We have to make information available in ways that people can use. That's something that RISC-KIT is very focused on. But this nexus between what science provides and the information that society uses is really crucial. It's up to us as scientists to be there and to help out. And I think this is a great example.
All our software and our e-learning modules are available from our website RISCKIT.eu, so it can be freely downloaded and used by anybody who's interested.